Oh, misfire.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to CoCon. Today we're talking about hand and arm signals. What are they? What do they look like? And when do we use them? To answer that first question, hand and arm signals are signals given by the hands and arms to silently direct other members of your team. We most commonly use hand and arm signals when working as a small team so that we can remain silent but still keep our constant communication with each other. Hand and arm signals need to be consistent, simple, and obvious with all the members of your team in order to avoid confusion. This is why most people use military doctrine. However, SOPs or standard operating procedures vary from group to group, so don't expect the lessons you learn here to 100% translate to every group you encounter. Now that we've covered what hand and arm signals are, let's cover some of the requirements that we need to ensure we have in order to effectively implement them. Because hand and arm signals are visual and not auditory, you must keep visual contact with the person closest to you in the formation so that you can keep that line of communication open. This means that you must keep that visual confirmation on them while pulling security and accomplishing your other team-related tasks. This can often prove to be very challenging and requires practice with your group in order to become a well-oiled machine. This leads into the last point before we move into the hand and arm signals, which is how do we actually use them and communicate with them. The first step is issuing the signal. This is often done by the team leader, but can be done by others depending on the signal. Whoever is issuing the signal has to confirm that the person behind them received the signal. This is typically done through eye contact. The signal recipient will then project that hand and arm signal to the next person behind him and do the same exact thing as the team leader by turning around, reissuing the command, and getting eye contact from the person behind them. This process then repeats through the entire formation until you reach the last man. The last man does not have to transmit any signals. Disclaimer: the SOPs that CoCon teaches may not coincide with all formal military training. That being said, do not be upset if some of the hand and arm signals we teach do not align perfectly with what you learned in the military. The first hand and arm signal we'll cover is freeze. This is accomplished by simply holding up your fist at head level. When the command freeze is given, all members of the team need to do exactly that, freeze. During this time, everyone should stop, look, listen, and smell, and wait for the next command. The next hand and arm signal is the halt. This is done by holding an open palm next to your head. The purpose of the command halt is to stop the formation for a longer period of time than a freeze. Often when this happens, there are SOPs in place for the team to pull security positions in the immediate area. The next command is continue or advance. This is done by taking your hand to your head level with an open palm and simply waving it forward. This signals to the team that you're moving on in the last agreed upon formation. The next hand and arm signal is the rally. This is accomplished by taking an open hand above your head and waving it around in a circle. This lets everyone know on your team to rally upon whoever called the command. The next command is get down. This is accomplished by holding an open hand with your palm facing downwards at chest height and pumping towards the floor. If you're standing, you'll go to the kneeling position. If you're kneeling, you'll go to the prone position. As you better learn your teammates' hand and arm signals and their intentions, you may be able to skip the standing to kneeling step and go straight from the standing to the prone. Similar to the get down command is the get up command. It's the inverse, in which you take your hand at hip height with your palm upwards and lift up to chest height. The next command is move over or shift over. This is done by taking your hand upright at your chest level and pushing in the direction that you want the person to move. If you want them to move forward, push forward. If you want them to move to the left, swipe to the left. If you want them to move to the right, swipe to the right. The next command is open or close formation. This is accomplished by having your hands directly in front of you with your palms facing each other. To open, you simply pull your hands apart repeatedly. To close, put your hands together repeatedly. The purpose of this hand and arm signal is to ensure that the formation has proper spacing. The next command is the single file formation. This is accomplished by taking your hand directly upright in front of your face and tapping the brim of your hat or your forehead and pointing at the ground directly where you want the formation to begin. As this command makes its way down the formation, the same point on the ground should be passed on to all individuals in the team. The next command is the staggered column. Similarly to the single file, you will tap your forehead, but instead of pointing to a single point, you point to 2 points on the ground. The next hand and arm signal is the wedge. This is accomplished by taking a hang loose symbol above your shoulder and waving your pinky and thumb from side to side. Some other commands we do seem simple but should be covered anyways. For example, to show confirmation of something, simply hold up the commonly used OK symbol. If you want to tell somebody no, simply strike at your own throat. Try to avoid using the thumbs up or thumbs down because in some SOPs that might mean enemy or friendly. If you want somebody to look at something, point at your own eyes and then point at the target. If you need to grab a teammate's attention, try making a non-human noise to grab their attention again without giving your position away to possible enemies near you. For example, try clicks similar to a squirrel, or possibly a whistle like a bird. To say you, point at their chest. To say me, point at your chest. Lastly, if you want your teammate to know you're displeased with them, simply hold up a fist in front of your face and raise your middle digit, like this.